Hello, good afternoon, everybody. We are so happy to have you here with us today to share with you some information about the Crestron Mercury. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Lori Cook here with Smarter Systems, and as most of you know, we are an audiovisual systems integration firm here in Charlotte. So we've worked with many of you and hope to have the opportunity to work with others. And with me today, I have Casey Lloyd. Casey is with Crestron. Crestron is one of our strategic partners, and we've been working with them for many years. And one thing we do is always bring best brand to our customers. And Casey's going to talk to you today about a very simple conference room solution. So we hope that you will get a lot out of this webinar. Make sure that you stick around at the end for directions on how to follow the next step to be in the drawing for the Panthers tickets. So I know that's an exciting opportunity. So we hope you learn a lot about the Crestron Mercury, and we will see you soon. I want to turn this over to Casey.
Great, thanks, Lori. Hi, everybody. I'm Casey Lloyd. I'm the regional sales manager here in the Charlotte market with Crestron. As Lori mentioned, we're going to talk about the Mercury today, which is a very simple solution for a lot of those conference room needs. We're going to talk about the hardware first, and I want to show it off for you a little bit, and then we'll kind of walk through a little bit more in depth between the different features and benefits of this product. So first, I want to note that we are actually doing today's webinar through our Mercury here in the office at Smarter, and the layout is very simple. Touchscreen on the front with all your controls. You've got connectivity here, so you can do either a hardwired presentation, or there's also capabilities for a wireless presentation built into the box as well through our Air Media device. As you can see, this is the physical size of the box here. It's not that big. We're on about a 4.5 foot table actually. So it's not that large of a unit. It's very compact. It's got a great high quality audio speaker system here on the back. And then we also have a mic array built into them on each of the four corners here, and then on the back on the other side as well. So it has great audio pickup from all sides. And in the case of a larger table, we do actually sell mic pod kits that you can add onto this, so you can extend out the audio across a much larger space. I've actually seen this work really, really well in rooms of up to about 12 to 16 people. So even in whether it's a small huddle space or a much larger conference room, this is actually a great solution. So let's dive into some of the other details about this now that you've actually seen the hardware, and we'll get started on the actual PowerPoint. All right, so the idea with the Crestron Mercury is to make your presentations very simple and easy to do. And in order to do that, we've built in a lot of very useful features. So in the picture here, you see what looks like probably a traditional conference room in your facility. I really hope it doesn't, but unfortunately, here with Smarter Systems and then also working with Crestron, we walk into a lot of spaces that do look like this. That cables are everywhere. There's a lot of extraneous devices on the table, and you're not really sure what does each function. The other aspect too is when you've got a room like this, you probably spend way more money than you really need to in order to get the functionality you want. And so the whole premise of the Mercury is to make your room very simple, very easy, and to give your employees a very simple experience across the entire enterprise, regardless of which room they walk into. There is a calendar feature built into this as well. For instance, Megan, who scheduled the webinar for today, she actually scheduled this room, which is known here at Smarter Systems as Huddle 2. She was able to go into the Outlook calendar and schedule it so that it showed up on both the Mercury and on the screen in that space. So people know when they're walking into that room if they're in the right meeting or not. So all of these things put together make a very simple device. The great thing about Mercury is it really is an all-in-one. It can be used as a SIP endpoint, so you can make phone calls directly to or from it. If you have a mobile phone, you can walk directly into that room, connect your Bluetooth to it, and do a speaker call straight from your actual mobile device as well. So I actually used this example the other day, and it really registered with some other customers. But say, for instance, you're coming back into the office, you get a call, and you need to pull a couple of people into this meeting. Instead of everybody gathering around your speakerphone on the speakerphone on your mobile device, just walk into a huddle space, connect via the Bluetooth, and you've got a great high-quality audio with great microphones built into it as well, so that not everybody's sitting around that one mobile device and creating, quite frankly, a bad experience in that sense. Being that Mercury is an open codec, you can use any device, any meeting platform that you choose, whether it's WebEx, GoToMeeting, we're using Webinar Jam today, Slack, Zoom, and then natively, this will work out of the box with Skype for Business as well. I know Teams is up and coming for Microsoft, and a lot of people are converting to that. We are working on a upgrade path, and Mercury will be native with Teams as well. So it'll be native to Skype for Business and Teams. We do have a Zoom feature available as well. So if you're a Zoom client, no need to worry about that either. But regardless, being that this is a BYOD or bring your own device type of footprint, you can use just about any web platform that you so choose. I mentioned the one-touch room booking with the calendaring, whether it's Outlook or if you have any other features, or any other scheduling platforms, maybe Team, Robin, EMS, depending on what you're using, you can book your room through those as well, and that will show up on both the Mercury and the TV. The nice thing about this also, from a deployment standpoint, is labor costs. We know labor is a very expensive commodity. And quite frankly, in today's technology space, you have to have very highly talented folks. With the Mercury, it's very simple to do. There's, on the back of the one we've got here in the room, you've got 5 plugins. It is a PoE powered device, so you really only need a network drop, and then to run your other cables for your webcam, your computer, and other extraneous devices like the mic pods. So it's very simple to use and to install. From a user experience standpoint, if you're using Skype for Business, it's one-touch dial, which is a native, being that Skype for Business is a native platform for us on the Mercury. When you book this room using Skype for Business, you can literally walk in, hit the dial button that will show up on the screen at the scheduled meeting time, and you're in your conference. If it's a bring your own device, like we've done today with Webinar Jam, I've connected my computer through and the webcam that's mounted on top of the video screen in here via the USB and the HDMI connection. So it's very simple and easy to plug into. That way, when you've got a room with a camera, everybody's not huddled around the one laptop webcam or something of that nature, or you're not seeing just one person on the other end. The whole idea is to give you a video conference in a space that's very simple and easy to use. I mentioned the calendaring a few moments ago. It will do on-screen display. You see there in the photo that he's got a mobile device. Well, if he's on Outlook, or we actually have some other products, primarily Ping, P-Y-N-G is something that we offer as well, that you can use on your mobile device. But if you schedule a meeting in a space, you can do it directly from your mobile device. That way, if you need to have an ad hoc meeting and you're walking to that room and you need to see its availability, you can do that right on the fly. You can reserve it right on the fly, shoot the quick email out to the other invitees, and then schedule the room that way. It really is very simple, very easy to use. Then if other people are trying to book that same room, first come, first serve, right? So then at that point, people will know, oh, okay, we didn't get that room, we're in the other room, because it's right there on the screen already, ready to go, and people will know if they're walking into the right meeting or not. As I mentioned, it is very simple to connect and run your presentation modes. There are two ways to do a presentation. You can connect through the HDMI and USB if you want to use video as well. The HDMI will obviously only send video from your laptop to the display and then across to the participants on the other side of the call. But then if you want to have video conferencing as well, you would just plug in the USB cable. If you wanted to do it with a wireless, with the wireless device that's built in here, you have our Air Media built into every Mercury. And Air Media is very simple. You just log on to the web page from your network. It's displayed on the screen. Enter the passcode, hit the play button, and you're off and running. It's very simple to do. If you have rooms that you've got a presentation system in there, but you want to add wireless capabilities to it, Air Media is available as an individual device as well. As I mentioned early on, this is a SIP endpoint. So if you only wanted to use this as a speakerphone, like a lot of folks at Crestron have done on their desk phones, you can actually do just that. This can be your entire desk phone. You actually can plug in a headset to the back of it and use it just like you would a standard desk phone with a handset. It's very simple to do. It's a standard SIP endpoint, so it doesn't really matter what call manager you're using. You know, you're able to use anything that is a SIP system. As I mentioned, the microphones are built into each of the corners, so it doesn't matter where you're sitting in the room. It will pick up very, very well and have very clear audio on both ends. As mentioned previously, also, it is very straightforward. You walk in, you connect, and you're off and running. You start your video conference. Being that this is designed to be an open codec, you can use any web conference tool that you choose, whether it's Skype for Business or Teams, which are native to the device, or if you wanted to use another, like any of the ones you see here. I know Zoom and BlueJeans are very popular right now. I know a lot of people use GoToMeeting and WebEx. It doesn't really make a difference to us. We're just the hardware that gets you from point A to point B so that you can hold that video conference. There is a feature available through a firmware update that if you want the Mercury to be a native Zoom endpoint, you can do that. It does disable some of the features that are built into the Mercury, like wireless presentation and the Bluetooth connectivity, but it can be a Zoom endpoint as well, so keep that in mind. And there we go. As I mentioned, Skype for Business is native with the Mercury. As Microsoft begins to roll out Teams, we will have a native feature for that as well. So both Microsoft products will be native to this. And then, as I mentioned, with the firmware update, it can be a Zoom endpoint also. So we also have a product called Fusion. One of the great things about having these meeting spaces is knowing what's going on about them in those spaces, how the rooms are being used, what times they're being booked, how often certain rooms are being booked by certain individuals. All of these data points need to be calculated so that you can really know what kind of ROI you're getting out of each space. If room A isn't used, but room C is constantly used, why is that? Why are people using room C more than room A? Is it the technology that's in the space? Is it because it's closer to the people that are holding the most meetings? What's going on? And the other factor too is, what kind of connectivity are they using? Are they using HDMI and USB? Are they using the wireless presentation? Are they using it just as a standard call endpoint? All of these things really need to be understood within your enterprise so that you can make educated decisions moving forward. And that's where Fusion really comes into play. One of our large corporate national clients, Coca-Cola, has been using Fusion for several years. And they took all of the data that they've been collecting and monitoring their systems with, and have made very educated decisions about their new buildings that are being built right now. And they're able to know, okay, these groups hold more meetings than these groups. So we need to have a couple more extra, we need to have a couple extra meeting spaces here. However, these particular, groups C and D don't necessarily hold a lot of meetings. So maybe we only need 1 or 2 huddle spaces. But then group E has large groups that only meet once a month. So what kind of space do we need for that? All of these things can be calculated and given reports through our Fusion software. Mercury will report directly back to Fusion, and there's a lot of ways that a great group like Smarter Systems can help you understand how that can all be calculated and how to use Fusion to the best of its capabilities for what your needs are. Fusion will dump all the data into Power BI, if you're familiar with Power BI, and that way you can easily customize your reports and get all of that data. This is an enterprise-grade device. Like everything we do at Crestron, whether it's education-based or the corporate enterprise, everything we do is designed for a large organization and to withstand the durability needs of something that's used in that. Is everybody hearing me now again? No? Okay. Maybe not. Let's try this. Okay, it looks like we've lost audio. Well, I apologize for that. Maybe we're having network issues as well. I'm not sure. Okay. If you can still, oh, some people can hear me. Okay, good. Looks like the network's back. Gotta love technology, right? If you can hear me, make sure you go to that last piece of information to register for the free tickets and set up your consultation. The consultation with Smarter Systems is free, and that will register you for those Panthers tickets. You want to make sure that you get those and have the opportunity to attend a Panthers game and see Cam in action. But most importantly, what we want to do is give you the opportunity to see what your spaces can do. Whether it's in a conference room, in your local office, or like a large enterprise, you may have many offices scattered around the country. It doesn't make a difference. Also, when it comes to education, whether it's in your local classroom or you have a distance learning application, Mercury's a great device for that, but then also Smarter Systems can help you design a room that definitely fits your needs. So it really doesn't matter what your need is, Smarter Systems can help you out here. Thank you guys so very much for attending today. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any further questions, we're going to keep the chat open here for a little while. Please feel free to ask some more questions if you have any. Otherwise, thank you very much. Smarter Systems and Crestron, thank you for attending today.